Hi guys, as we wrap up week 8 and get started in week 9, I've got grades in the grade book for the leadership EAQ and the delegation of nursing management. That is the last case study that you have due in this class. So the case studies were worth 3.57 roughly points a piece. And then I did that on a point basis based on your score. So if you got a 100 on that, then you got the full 3.57 points. So in the grade book, check your case studies. That is out of a possible 25. 25 was the highest amount of points you could get for that. The second thing you want to take a look at is the EAQ column. There are 5 EAQs in our course, so they're worth 10 points apiece when you finish that. So as of today, you're graded for the 4 of them that we've had to complete. So there's still one out there for next week, but you could have up to 40 points. So as of right now, it looks a little skewed when you look at the average because it's going to give you a lower average than you're used to seeing because we haven't done the HESI yet. Yeah, that HESI is worth 25 points. So when you're looking at the whole thing, the EAQs are worth 50. The case studies are worth 25 and the HESI is worth 25. So that could give you a good idea of where you're standing for the course. And then I do want to hit on next week. We have the EAQ for professionalism that's due on the 15th. So let me pull up 2 things here. This is I think a challenge, and I'm wanting you guys to see this because with that bachelor's degree, you're going to be afforded the opportunity to move into management positions a little bit earlier than some of your peers without that bachelor's degree. I know many of you have taken healthcare management classes or other classes that would impact your ability to manage and lead. So I'm wanting to hit on some of those things here. Chapters 20 and 21 really talk to how you develop that culture for hiring, developing your staff, and evaluating them, which falls solely upon that unit director to be able to develop your staff and then to evaluate your staff. And then what will come with that, without hesitation, you're going to have personnel and managing that personnel and those personnel problems. I think that was probably one of my biggest problems when I was a floor manager or a unit manager because people didn't work together so well, or we had personality conflicts, which we have in our class. So if we've got them in our class, you guys know you're going to have them in the workforce. So knowing how to massage those and how to create good beneficial teams and a good culture is a real challenge to me. So although you don't have to do the lessons, those are available to you here. I do want to add that I think these 2 chapters, you can't really move into these 2 chapters without referring back to chapter 14, which was that chapter on delegation. So you have to know who can do what within their scope of practice before you can develop and evaluate your staff. You have to be able to keep them within that realm. So keep that in mind for that. And then I wanted to hit another thing here. So you'll be working on that EAQ for professionalism this week. Then next week, I'm just throwing it out there just so you'll continue to remember, we have our live 3-day review. So don't forget that. That'll be next week. So this week we're wrapping up professionalism. Let's see what else I've got. And then as we move into our, I always say stuff about the clinical course here, so let me pull that one up. So to pull up the clinical part, I'll have, I read your responses in your discussion board every week for your 24 hours that you're doing actually in the acute care setting. But then to keep working on our wellness proposal, that wellness proposal is what we're looking at this week. And I already met with Rushma and Jade this morning to talk about the feedback that they need to give you on this. Then you'll have a full week to work together as your team before you submit that final wellness project. When I was talking to Jade and Rushma about this, Jade was mentioning she works in an ICU, And one of the things she was saying is how she thought it was really interesting that as a hospital that should promote wellness, that they don't have any type of employee wellness program. So she thought it was kind of cool that we were trying to instigate one, and that as nurses, we were the ones trying to be the ones to be the ringleaders on that. So that I was really excited about that. So you'll have that week to work on that. They'll be getting your feedback to you by the weekend based on what we were discussing. So that'll allow you to kind of have that little breather to work through a little bit, even meet a little bit in the live review if you want before you finish that final submission based on the feedback that you've gotten from your post-licensure nurse, either Reshma or Jade on that one. I do want to encourage you again to go into D2L and finish your final evaluation. We really didn't need to do a midterm evaluation because you're only doing the 24 hours in there. So work on those evaluations. And then as I finish those, you'll notice as you're going through there's large components of that evaluation in D2L that specifically talk about a project, and this is where that's coming from. So I'm able to use with my 3 screens, I pull up your project, and then I pull up your feedback from your preceptors, and then I have that clinical evaluation there. So I'm able to pull those scores in so that it's a really objective score in that clinical evaluation. I think that is all. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to holler at me. I know once we get to about right here, you kind of you're wanting to put down the gauntlet, but we got to do that final push, guys, for about 5 more weeks, if you can believe that, just to push through to the end to be successful. So let me know how I can help you, and have a good week. Thanks.